chosen ones, empaths, this narcissist did love you. I know that's a shocker for you. It's rampant in the narcissistic community. Narcissists don't love this, that, the other. And that's coming from people that have been hurt. And I'm not disputing, right? You've also been hurt, right? But let me tell you something. The narcissist is searching for happiness, okay? Now, when we talk about love, generally, off the topic of narcissism, people have different proportions of the love they give, right, to others. The empath, the chosen one, is very selfless. And the way they love themselves, or the way that you love yourself, you give to others, right? And prior to awakening, that's further in awakening when you find real love for yourself. But you're asleep a lot of the time. But the empath and the chosen one gives a lot from their center. Okay? Not just romantic relationships, friendships, family. This is who you are. But generally, people have different proportions of love, of what they give, you see. So it's not equal. Love's not equal. And that's why there's a lot of dysfunction in the world, right? But let me tell you, the narcissist does have love within them. If you're religious and you believe in God, okay, then look at it like everyone is from God, even though they're from the enemy and stuff, right? If you want to go into that, even though they're from the enemy, they are a creation of God, okay? So they do have a fragment of good in them. And what it is they pick up the wrong end of the stick, basically. So their love gets misconstrued, right? Through time, it gets more and more misconstrued. And because they don't express like an empath or a chosen one, you may be introverted, you may keep yourself to yourself, but still when you talk, you release, right? They're very pent up and they get very bitter and twisted, but they did believe in this fantasy. The thing about this is you and the narcissist were in a delusion or an illusion in the relationship, the whole thing. Okay, when you're in a sleep, this is deep, right? When you're in a sleep empath or chosen one, like yourself, you're in a delusion. Okay? This person is creating this fantasy, right? As much as you felt like you were they were doing a lot of stuff to try and keep you around or keep you fulfilled. And this is why some of you, the love bomb can seem so intense, but that's them using what they have, that fragment of love, even though it's coming out misconstrued and they're love bombing and they're manipulating and they're trying to bait you and they're trying to take advantage. Really, it's coming from their purest place, should I say? Okay, for the ability to love bomb, because they're bouncing off your energy. So they're actually tapping more into their center. They feel more centered around you than they ever felt around anyone. Okay? But the reason why it don't last, or the love bomb don't last, or that intensity, is because you change as well. Okay? You start to change. Really, God's there, the universe is there, knowing that this is not the path that you should be on. Or knowing that this necessary encounterment with the narcissist is going to propel you onto brighter things in the future. So really, they come along to show you, right? So this is God using the narcissist, or the universe using the narcissist to awaken chosen ones? Right? It's a theory, right? It's a theory, I don't know. But this could be this is what they're used for. That's their main purpose. All right? And you could have run into a myriad of narcissists through your life, woke up slightly, went back to sleep, but then you had your big awakening or the dark night of the soul or whatever you went through, and that happened to be the narcissist that made you realize that. Could have been a family member, could have been a friend, could have been a romantic relationship, whoever it was, okay? That's what they was. So this is why it don't last. Also, from the narcissist perspective, they're putting on this whole performance, right? They believe in this fantasy as well with you. They believe in this fantasy, okay? And as time proceeds, you stop living up to expectation. They have high expectations of people, of what people should do. Now, I'm not trying, look, hear me out, okay? They have high expectations of you, so because they've created a fantasy of fakery and everything like that, right? It's built on inauthentic foundations. So it can't last, okay? It can't last. They also, the high expectations they had, that comes later, further down the line. They're going to realize what your worth is further down the line, but it comes and goes. And the thing about, I was mentioning briefly, but you also change how you are around them, okay? Because the empath actually mirrors. Let me ask you a question, okay? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Was any of you miserable? I'm not talking about when the abuse, like prior to awakening, prior to you even knowing you're in abuse, prior to knowing, like you're just stuck in this situation. It could be a friendship, could be a romantic relationship, could be family, but you're actually miserable. And I reckon there's a lot of you that actually had those wave frequencies or thoughts during the encounter with the narcissist. You actually felt trapped. You actually felt miserable. You actually felt like you could do better. Now, that was your soul talking to you. And you might have acted a bit mean, or you might have acted a bit off or whatever, like with them and stuff. They took that so personally, okay? But that's because you're reflecting, you're mirroring their real energy. You're picking up on an energy, but someone's smiling in your face. But they've got a certain energy and they carry a certain energy that's dark. So it was causing you to fall into being miserable, and they picked up on this. They picked up on this, all right. They started to think, all right, this person's not serious. They need to find a more reliable source of supply. And what I mean is, they were actually worried that you were going to run out on them. I'd love to hear about you saying that in the comment section, because I hear this frequently when I'm discussing in sessions, right? I'd love to hear what you say in the comment section. Did, you know, please put it in there. But they definitely thought that you would have definitely been feeling miserable for a time, and they definitely picked up on this, you know. They definitely picked up on this. And that's why they go for this more reliable source of supply, where they think, okay, they start to get, I just mentioned this in a recent video, but they start to get egotistical, very egotistical. They start to think, oh no, it's me that done it. I made them into this. And they start to look at all the things that they've done for you and how much they're seeing that you're changing, and they start to think that they're going to take that prize away from you, which is them. They start to say they're going to take themselves out of the equation to somehow win you over. And they do this with actually, you know, they want you to love them completely. They don't want you to run out. They don't want you to go to someone else. They don't want to go through that. Okay? Narcissists, right? Watch where you're looking with your eyes. Okay? When you're walking down the street with a narcissist or something like that, a narcissist will be watching where your eyes are going, because they're feeling insecure. A narcissist is so insecure. All right? And I'm not making fun of insecurities. It's not, Even for a narcissist, as much as they're disgusting parasites. It's really not good because it creates dysfunction. And many of you might have, low self-esteem or things like that, especially after a narcissistic relationship. You may have that stuff. And that's why it's all about the rebuilding and building yourself back up to finally love yourself purely, right? Wholly, not need someone else's validation to love yourself. I think that is the tip of the iceberg, really. Because a narcissist is never going to find that, okay? Imagine a lot of you think, oh, posting a picture of a new relationship, these sorts of things will get to a narcissist. No, you going and finding and loving yourself wholly, okay? Loving yourself, finding yourself, that's the ultimate revenge, okay? Because I'm not saying you ain't going to meet no one, but it's better you love yourself and you don't need someone than just going with someone for convenience, right? So they did this ending of the ending. The discard's a lot of fake. The discards, for those of you who discarded, the discard is fake, right? The discard is really fake, okay? It's an agenda, it's a motive to win more from you, and I don't want any of you clinging on to be like, but when is the time that they arrive? And shit like that, You can't be in that mind state. That is hurt. That is pain. That's a painful mind state. You don't need their return. Okay, you don't need their return. What I'm discussing, don't feel sorry for them either. Okay? Everyone knows, all right, there's a thing in society, right? Society and religiously, right? Spiritually, and all of that, okay? Now, it's frowned upon. If you find someone out to be a backstabber or a liar, it's frowned upon. Even people who are backstabbers and liars will frown upon them people in the surface around other people. Like, oh, that's so bad. They're so bad. And frown upon them. Okay? So, the narcissist doesn't want to be revealed, as a liar. And they know now that they're a fucking bullshit, right? So that pains them. They're going through a lot of pain because they even realize that now that they lie. But my point being about the thing about what you offered was the truth, okay? And that now they realize after that's a stable source of supply, okay? Because you expressed a lot of the times. And they realize that after. Naturally, even a narcissist, they become more educated as time proceeds through life. They do become more educated, not like an empath or a chosen one. And I'm not talking about, like school and college and university, but they do become more educated in life, okay, as time goes on. But really, they regret. They feel like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. And I should have done this. And everyone can have that. But they have it intensively. Right? So, please understand that now they don't trust other people. After you're gone, if you said to a narcissist that you loved them, okay, whether it was a family member, a friend, or you said you told them that, all right, they actually believe it now. But they know that that version of you is gone forever. That's what I'm trying to encourage all of you to be. That version of you that was subservient, that version of you that will throw themselves so deeply into someone, right? Romantic, friends, whatever, work, like colleagues and whatever, like throwing yourself. I want you all to lose that, okay? You see? And that's how you find yourself. Because they're never going to get that. They're never going to get that. All right? And they know now that version of you's gone. That makes them recalculate. That makes them inquisitive. That makes them know and feel, which many of you are going through, that are further along in their journey, they don't know how to approach you now. They really, really don't. They don't know how to approach you, right? So please understand, you will hear that narcissists don't love. Like, it's not the love to your level, okay? But the reason why they're trying to hurt you, the reason why they're trying to do something is coming from their misconstrued love that they don't know how to communicate, that was mentioned in a recent video. They don't know how to actually articulate. They don't know how to express. They're a fucking mess, right? They're a fucking mess, and they know they're a mess, all right? They are a mess. They are fucking disgusting. And I want all of you to get that, where you just view them like that, okay? And there's so many more that you're going to encounter in your life. There's so many more narcissists that you're going to encounter in your life, let me tell you, all right? I hope you don't. I hope you never encounter another narcissist again. But I have to warn you that you encounter other ones, okay? Honestly, it's... Just be careful out there, all right? This was your awakening, this particular narcissist. But literally, like, they're not the answer, all right? You've snapped out of that sleep state. They believed that you were both fucking as delusional as each other in that relationship was the delusion, all right? That relationship, that friendship, that family unit, whatever it was where you was involved with a narcissist, was fucking a delusion. They had you under a spell, but you also had them under a spell because they were fucking intoxicated with how you made them feel. And it does build them up, and it does brighten them up, and it does give them the courage to go on in life without you. But will they get far? No, they won't get very far. And I'm not talking about superficiality stuff. Let's talk about romantic relationships. Like them going off and getting married or going and doing this. They do that to fucking provoke you. All right, that's what you're not seeing. All right? They felt, like I was touching on, they felt insecure about you. Like I said, they watch you where you're looking. They feel insecure. So now they're projecting their own fucking insecurities onto you by them becoming the one that runs out and cheats and does all this stuff. Okay? Stop thinking that you were reaching or punching for them, right? And I mean that in a sense of like aspiring to get them, you know? They were fucking beneath you for a long time, all right? They never was on your level. They're not on your level now, all right? They fucking had you. You both were in some fucking connected delusion together, or as a group, if it's friends or family, but you've broken free from that now. So fucking celebrate it, all right? I had someone in a session, I hope they don't mind mentioning, but the day of their divorce or the day of the discard, they celebrate. They actually celebrate, right? They actually celebrate that fucking date. I can't remember if it was discard or divorce, but they celebrate it. And they're sincere, I could tell. They fucking celebrate it, right? So, everyone, please embrace what I said. No, this narcissist didn't just fucking deceive. They deceive, they lie, they do this, but they do it from the closest thing to their center. You made them tap into their center. So things surrounding around you is from their center. Okay, but it gets misconstrued, it gets nasty, it gets all like that. What I'm saying is someone trying to annoy you, frustrate you, bully you, do all this stuff, that's a narcissist. That's how they treat someone. That's their affection. That's how they show affection. It's fucking weird. All right, it's fucked. It's so fucked. I'm sorry for my language in this episode, but it seriously is. And I know many of you ain't gonna understand what I'm talking about, but it really, really is. That is their form of how they communicate their feelings, right? But please believe these discards, ghostings, abandonments, where they run off with a new supplier, that was their projection of their own insecurities about you with them. I want you to tap into that time that you felt miserable. Think of the time when you felt miserable. Think of the time when you felt trapped in the relationship. They fucking saw it in your eye. They knew it. They thought, fucking hell, this person's running out. They thought, oh my God, this person's gonna go. All right, and they're worried about you because they know other people will try to draw you out, like who are like them. Okay, so they don't like their own kind that much, right? They don't like their own kind that much. They might connive and everything with their own kind, but they don't like their own kind when it comes to someone taking their chosen one or empath. And remember, you're not their one. That's how they view it, like they own you, all right? Break the chains, cut the soul ties, get fucking free, and break away from these parasites, all right? You know, they're so deeply enmeshed after the relationship as well, okay? In your mind, heart, and soul, you've got healing to do. You've got work to do. This is very, very cliche, and I won't say it again. Rome wasn't built in a day. It does, like, we're moving at God's timing. Try to tap into God's timing because things don't happen instantaneously. Although there are many of you I've spoken to who are healing very rapidly. Okay? But still, majority takes a little time to heal. Okay? And remember, the more you loved, okay, the more you loved and the more sincere you was towards this person. Remember, when I talk about love, it's not just romantic relationships. It's anyone. All right? The more that you were true, the more that you were authentic, the more that it will take you some time to heal, I believe. Okay? It will take you, still you can heal rapidly, but it will take you time because you a piece of you will feel like it's missing because you're spreading all your love and energy into something and they turned out to be a fucking weirdo. Dusty succubus. Narcissist. So that it's an abrupt awakening. Okay? But remember, this is their insecurities why they're doing this. Okay? But still, the narcissist did really, you were both under that illusion together. Alright? You both was under that delusion or illusion together. It was a coexisting fantasy, delusion, whatever, that you were both enmeshed into. They saw, like, they knew they was a fucking fake, but they believed in that, all right? You did bring them a lot of happiness, okay? But it needed to end, so God, like, they're just a means to your progression in life. That's what they are. Now you've gone through this awakening, you ain't gonna be entrapped again. You're gonna see them approaching. Just stay safe, everyone, because there's a lot of parasites out there. So anyway, thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate the support. Please book a session if you'd like to. If you'd like to donate or support to the channel, you can. Check out my new EP, Agenda, in Zion Music YouTube channel, and check out Zion Spiritual YouTube channel as well. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.